Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is another what's for dinner video, and we're gonna jump right in with the first recipe tonight, which is kind of like a chicken and biscuit pot pie type thing. I'm using like 2 different recipes and kind of mashed them together, so I'm just gonna let you guys know what I do. But these are like the non-perishable and prep ingredients. You're going to need to dice the onion. It says 2 carrots, I'm using 3. This also needs a dice, and it said 1 celery, I'm using 2. But I don't use the full thing. I only use like the dark green area, so it still basically ends up being like 1, but dice all of those. And this recipe calls for already cooked chicken, which I don't have. If you had a rotisserie chicken, this would make this recipe so much faster. So get a rotisserie chicken or go ahead and use some pre-cooked chicken. I'm poaching some chicken tenders right now. Get a large saucepan out, and you're gonna melt 4 tablespoons of butter first thing. I have all the vegetables chopped up, and I'm going to let the little chopper thing make quick work of all this. Once the butter's melted, take all of the onion, celery, and carrots and put them in there. Cook all of these until all of them are tender. While the vegetables are cooking, I'm trying to work on the herbs. It says I need 1.5 teaspoons of fresh rosemary. Yes, I just ran in the rain into my garden to get this, but I don't think I'll need the extra piece, just this amount right here. And finely mince that. And then fresh parsley, which I don't have, so I'm gonna have to use jarred for that. When your vegetables are getting pretty close to done, just take some garlic. It wants 2 cloves. I'm just putting like that. I checked it for doneness. Now we're gonna move on to the next step. Get a whisk that's safe for your pan, not a metal one. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna put all the flour, and you're gonna sprinkle it all over this, and slowly start whisking it around. That is 1/3 cup of flour. And then 1 3/4 cups of chicken broth. Start whisking. 1/2 cup of heavy cream. In goes the thyme, salt, and pepper. It says thyme, I used rosemary, so I'm gonna put a little bit of thyme leaves and then parsley. Cause yep, I screwed that up. So now we're doing both flavors. Let this cook on a low simmer for about 8 or 9 minutes, just so it fully thickens up. While that's thickening up, go ahead and mix a thing of the Bisquick, according to package, for just the classic biscuits, because that's what we're gonna put on top of this thing. Once it's fully thickened, go ahead and put your chicken in. I have a lot of chicken. Add a cup of frozen peas. That looks good. Remove this from the heat and turn your oven on to 400. 13 by 9 dish. I've lightly sprayed it with some cooking spray and just pour all of this mixture into the bottom of it.
Are you making chicken pot pie?
Kind of. Work it out across the pan, kind of an even layer. Don't like smash it down, just kind of like flatten it out. Just take little pieces of your dough and put them across the top until you cover the whole top of this pan in biscuit dough. But don't leave them like big puff balls, kind of like spread them out a little. I'm afraid those biscuits are gonna be plain as crap, so I'm taking some garlic powder and I'm just gonna lightly sprinkle it across the top. Into the 400-degree preheated oven. I will let you know how long it takes. That was after 15 minutes and they're definitely not done yet. So I'm gonna go another 5 and then try again. It is bubbling like crazy, but it finally started to take a little brown on top. This was 25 minutes and I did brush melted butter over this for the last 5 minutes of it to see if I can get a little more brown. So that's why it looks like this. I'm gonna let it cool down just a bit before serving. Here's what it looks like all plated up. It smells really, really good. I've used that filling for a actual pot pie recipe, but this is the first time I'm doing it with biscuits, so I'll let you guys know. And when you scoop it, it doesn't all run out because it is thickened up, so it stays with its portion. This was delicious, but there's a few alterations that could make it even better. The biscuit is a little bland, so you can either season that up or switch it out entirely for a box of Cheddar Bay biscuits. That would be really good. My husband also said that the ratio of biscuit to filling was off for him. We all thought it was great, but I mean, he's a meat and potato kind of guy. So the filling he didn't think was enough, but the rest of us thought it was really good. No, I take back what he said. He wanted more moisture to it. He thought it got too thick and it needed to be a little more like gravy. So possibly don't thicken it as long or put a little extra of the chicken stock, go probably about another half a cup and you should be good. Otherwise, that was absolutely delicious. And if you use the rotisserie chicken or some pre-cooked chicken, it would be much, much faster to do this for like a weeknight once school goes back. Dinner number 2, it is a beef and peppers. I found it on Pinterest a long time ago, still have yet to make it, but it's supposed to take like 15 to 20 minutes, and this is all the ingredients that you need. My husband is working on making some rice to go with it, and let's see how this goes. First step is to dice the onion and both bell peppers. Large skillet on about medium-high heat, melt the butter, and then add all of your chopped onions and peppers. All that's been cooking for about 5 minutes. Now is when you're gonna add in your pound of ground beef. The recipe at this point says to cook this until the meat is browned all the way through and the vegetables are tender. Drain it, then season it. You guys know me well enough by now. That's raw meat. I'm gonna season at this step as well. This dish has soy sauce. I'm adding a little bit of ground ginger. That's almost cooked all the way. Check your veggies even once your meat's done to see if they're as tender as you want them, and then we'll move on to the next step. But for the measurements for this, since I already went ahead and seasoned, they want 1 teaspoon salt, 2 teaspoons black pepper, a tablespoon of garlic powder, and then half a cup of soy sauce. I always use reduced sodium. Again, you can add salt, can't remove it. So reduced sodium, half cup. Once everything is cooked through and tender, that's when you're going to add in your soy sauce and your seasonings and just give it a good mix. Give the soy sauce just a minute to heat up, and then this is done. Here it is all plated up. We just served it over some plain rice. You can add more soy sauce. We actually have yum yum sauce. I'm gonna try that on it, but really quick and easy dinner. I tried it before I added the yum yum sauce, and it's actually really good, but I am glad I added the ginger because it needed just that little something extra. If you don't know what yum yum sauce, it's this stuff right here. It's literally yum yum sauce, and it's so good. I added it to the top of that. Yeah, definitely add this. Another night, another dinner. Tonight we're doing like it's called Salsa Fresca chicken or something. I found it on Pinterest and I've made it like once before, twice before. It's really, really good though. You need chicken. It calls for chicken breast. I'm using chicken tenders. Same thing, because you're gonna cut them up anyways, so it doesn't matter. An onion, a bell pepper. It also calls for a jalapeno, not a bell pepper, so you can swap those if you would like. Some lime, Roma tomatoes, fresh cilantro, and then that is your spices right there. Cumin, garlic powder, salt, pepper, and crushed red pepper if you want the extra heat. Step 1, oven to 400. Oop, 400. Step 2, dice this up into little chunks, like bite-sized chunks. Dice this, dice that. We're going to juice this and dice up those. Obviously, I just took those out of that bag. Wash your produce, then cut it. When I said to chop everything up, don't do what I did. The chicken, you're going to chop it and you're going to put it in a 13x9 first by itself, not in there with everything else. So now I have to pick all that chicken out, put it in the 13x9, everything else you can chop up and put it into a big bowl. I have all of the chunks in the bottom now. Yeah, there's a little bit of it in there, but that's going directly on top of this in a second anyway, so I'm not real worried about contamination. But now we're gonna do the seasonings in here. The recipe calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of each of those 5. We're going a half because we like seasonings in this house, but you do you on that. My husband's putting all the seasonings on the chicken right now. So over here into this bowl, I do have the lime. I'm gonna pour that in, and I will mix all of this up, and I'm gonna mix all the seasonings into there. And now I'm covered in cilantro because I mixed this all up, but that's been mixed and put back into a layer, and now I'm just going to put all of this over the top and then spread it out evenly. Now that's all layered on there. You're gonna take 1 cup of shredded mozzarella and just sprinkle it lightly all over the top. There it is, and once your oven is preheated, just pop it in there, and like I said, it was 400 degrees, and it's gonna be 30 minutes. While the chicken is cooking, make whatever side you're using. We're tired of rice, we're having it too much. So tonight I'm making some orzo. I'm gonna make like a tequila lime type dealio. I don't know, I'm gonna play with that. But make your side. You could do white rice, you can do this, you can do, what's that crap? You could do cauliflower rice. You could put the chicken on tortillas and eat it like tacos. I mean, you could do anything. 30 minutes later, this is what it looks like. It smells so good. And then that's our orzo. I just put some lime and lime zest, butter, lime juice, and I'm gonna put some cilantro and salt and pepper in there, but we're just gonna serve this over that. It comes out like in chunks and scoopable because the chicken cooks together, but otherwise so far it smells good. I'll let you know. This is absolutely delicious. We ate it over the orzo. My husband put it on a tortilla with some hot sauce and extra cheese. He said that was delicious. He wants this for more tortillas for the rest of the week. Only 2 of the older kids actually ate it. The rest of them had no idea and they did not want it. But this was really good and really easy. This was so good to go with it. It's just half a box of orzo cooked according to the box with some chopped up cilantro, a full lime, and I zested the lime. About 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter, salt and pepper. That's it, but it was so good. Dinner time yet again. Tonight I'm doing a Pinterest recipe, but I'm like simplifying it drastically. I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute. But it is a chicken bacon ranch pasta. So it wants you to have your chicken. It says thighs. I don't have any thighs. I only have tenders. And then you're gonna dice this up into bite-sized pieces. It wanted real bacon. I forgot to buy the actual bacon, but I always have this stuff on hand, so this will work anyways. A packet of ranch seasoning. It had homemade Alfredo sauce and all the ingredients to do that. I said forget it. I grabbed 2 jars of store-bought Alfredo, rotini, and then some mozzarella and sharp cheddar. And it's only a cup of this and half a cup of this, so it's not these huge bags. That's just what I have for other dinners throughout the week. And I will say another way to make this even faster, if you have pre-cooked chicken, you could put it in a pan to heat it with a little bit of olive oil and then put the ranch packet in there so it slightly cooks onto it and you'll get the same idea anyways. So if you want to use pre-cooked chicken, you can still do this and make it even faster. But first step, put your oven on 375. Grab a pot. This is going to boil your pasta according to the package, and grab a skillet. We're going to need this in just a minute. The next thing you're going to do is take your chicken, whatever you're using, if you're going to use the thighs, the breast, whatever, and cut this into bite-sized pieces. This is what I mean when I say bite-sized chunks. I'm taking my tenders, cutting them in half, and then just dicing them up that way. Chicken in a bowl. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and then an entire packet of ranch seasoning. Mix that really, really well. Boil your pasta, like I said, according to the box. Heat your pan to about medium-high and add just a little bit more olive oil to the pan. Once your oil's heated up, go ahead and add all of your chicken to the pan. Cook until completely done. Almost cooked all the way through. I'm gonna go ahead and put the entire packet of this in here so it can start getting heated up. Drain your pasta and then put it back in the pot off the heat. Okay, and let that wait 1 minute. Put all of your chicken and your bacon into the pot with the noodles. And throw in your Alfredo sauce. Add a little water to the jar and shake it up to get all the extra out. I'm starting with 1 jar and then I'll let you know. This looks creamy now, but I am gonna add the extra jar just because noodles suck up a lot of moisture and this is still going in the oven, so I'm gonna add the extra jar. Now it's very saucy, but I don't really care because it is gonna still absorb some of that. 13 by 9, and I've sprayed it already with some cooking spray, and I'm just gonna pour every bit of this into it. Spread it out into an even layer. Sprinkle about 1 cup of mozzarella. I want a little more than that.
Yeah.
And then some shredded cheddar. About half the amount that you do of the mozzarella, do that of the cheddar. Put this in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. All right, let me put this here. This is the full 20 minutes because you see all the bubbling in here. That's what I wanted since my sauce was cooked, like not cooked yet. It came straight from a jar, so I went the full 20. The recipe said fresh parsley for garnish if you want to. I don't have any of that. So just some dried stuff out of the jar will do. All pretty. Here it is, plated up. It smells so good. I bit 1 noodle, it tastes really good. So I'm hoping the kids like this, but you know, we'll see. This was really, really good. The ranch is not very strong though, so if you wanted more of a chicken bacon ranch feel to it, you're gonna wanna add some more because this was mostly like chicken Alfredo with bacon. Not really ranchy, but either way, this was still really, really good. Next dinner, I let Brianna pick what she wants, and she wanted walking tacos. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a bag of chips. You fill it with taco meat and whatever taco toppings that you like, and that's dinner. So I got this big box that's on sale for back to school, and we're gonna use the normal Doritos, the ranch Doritos, and the Fritos to feed our family for this. And obviously this is not enough, so I do have 2. If you've never made taco meat at home, it is super, super easy. Just get a big pan and heat it to about medium-high. Add your meat to the skillet, break it apart, and brown it. The taco packet is where you're gonna get most of your flavor. If you don't want one of these, you can mix it up online. There's tons of recipes online for homemade taco seasoning, and then you're just going to need 2/3 of a cup of water to kind of like make it all work together for one round of seasoning mix. But you don't have to do anything at this point for seasoning, but you know I'm going to. Just had to climb to the top of my pantry for this because my little one is out. But I'm going to use some Montreal steak, not a whole lot, but just a little on the cooking meat so that way it really sinks in. I'm making basic taco meat tonight. If you don't want to be this basic, you can add a bell pepper in there. You can add diced onion in there, jalapeno peppers. You could put salsa in here, a can of refried beans. There's so much you could do to like amplify this. Anything that you'd basically eat with taco seasoning on it, you could put in there while it's cooking. Once your beef is all the way browned, drain it. Then add your seasoning packet and put it in there for a minute with the water not in yet so you can start to wake up the spices. About 1 minute, add the water that it calls for on your packet. It's all bubbly like that. Go ahead and turn it down to like medium low and let this simmer for about 3 to 4 minutes and it's done. Now you're gonna prep whatever toppings you're gonna use. So if you haven't done this with an iceberg before, if you hit this on your counter and just hit it, you can pull the whole core right out. It's really easy. If you smack it, the whole core breaks. So it's easier to get your leaves and stuff off. I take the top one off because it's gross. And then I'm only gonna use about half of this for tonight. So I'm only gonna shred half. I've never bought the tomatoes on the vine still, but they were the cheapest option in Publix today, so those are what I'm gonna dice.
You just dropped
as I
one.
drop one. Don't know if it's a type of tomato, but that was probably the juiciest tomato that I've ever cut in my life. What you do for your first step, you pick whatever kind of chip you're gonna use and you actually break it up, like break the chips in there. Okay, and then cut the top off. And then you can check and see if that texture is good for you, if you want them smaller, whatever you wanna do. Take your bag and start layering whatever taco toppings you like. I like to put my cheese in first so my meat melts it. That's just a personal preference. Put the cheese in the bag, like so. I like to fold the bag over on top just so it's a little easier to get down in there. And then add your meat on top of your cheese, however much taco meat you want in there. And then whatever toppings you normally eat on your taco, just stick them in the bag. My husband likes salsa, that's why this is out. Any kind of hot sauce, sour cream, whatever toppings you like, put them in the bag. There is your little walking taco. The bags can get a little warm, so just be careful, but when it's time to eat, just mix it up a little bit and then go at it with a fork like you normally would, almost like a taco salad. This should be an indication of how much the kids enjoyed the little walking taco idea. We do Taco Tuesday almost every week, but definitely at least every other week, so we need to switch it up. And honestly, the nacho cheese Doritos was better than the Fritos. Both are amazing, but this was still better. Here is one more final look at all 5 of the dishes. They were so easy, fast, perfect for back to school season when it's just pure chaos and you want a really easy dinner to put on the table. If you want more recipe videos, thumbs up on this one so I know to make more. If you enjoyed today's video and you're not subscribed yet, I really hope you consider subscribing, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys!